We're picking up right where we left off on this. This is the Subaru to side-by-side project. Playlist link should be in the description if you want to check out how we got to this point. We ended the last video with starting to notch this out for how I can sit down right there. And we're going to pick up on this side, doing the same thing. I'm going to kind of trace this side and then copy it to the other side. They should be pretty dang similar. And at least this way, if they're wrong, they're both wrong together, huh? Just cleaning up a piece of cardboard to use. Everybody always makes the joke that this is CAD, cardboard aided design. I like that joke. I think it's a good joke. Something like that. Trace it out. I'm confident we'll have to keep cutting on this and notching it until we get exactly how we want. I've never done anything like this before, so we're making it up as we go, which means we're probably gonna do a few steps, a few too many times compared to people that actually know what they're doing, but I bet we still get there in the end. The other thing, you can see my real fancy wiring for the fuel pump. Fuel pump's right there, and that's the access if we ever had to change it. So I'm gonna cut out quite a bit in here as well. Also, so it sits down and it's got clearance around these fuel lines. And we're going to try to not cut the fuel lines. All right, got this chunk out of there. Just a lot of layers to chew through. A little bit more to trim up here. And then we're going to do some cutting along that back side to take some off. And we got to do something else because you're supposed to be attached to this. So, okay. That'll take one out. That'll take another out. That'll take another out. Well, here's what we're looking like on this side. Here's what we're looking like here. I'm going to cut this piece off right here. See what's sitting on there? So this is starting to look pretty good on here. Getting a lot closer. We got a little bit more trimming, but I like what we got going on. That side's caught up too. The problem is, as I keep trimming it, it keeps sliding forward because we got this going on up here. So I think it's time to try to get this caught up just a little bit so we can get it to stay this way how we need it. Which means I'm gonna go ahead and start stripping this dash down. We're gonna build our own dash some point down the line. So I gotta get all this stuff out of the way. Plus I just want access to the back side of this pillar and up in here so we can clean that up a little bit, figure out how we're gonna get that part to marry to it. So that's where we're sitting now at the dash. Gives me plenty of access to the back side of this so I can do what I need to do. But this is, I mean, I kind of want it shoved up as far as I can. Imagine a little bit of flat sheet metal work that comes up, goes around that, comes up, covers that. I did save all the harnesses for the speedometer and all that stuff. We're just going to try to tuck that up there. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's going to be the bare minimum, but it's going to, it might, there's a chance it could work. Let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and take these off. I don't think we're gaining a lot by having that on there right now. Oh, we scratched it. We got a scratch in it. Let's give her a, let's see how she... It's got a feel to it. Huh? It's got a feel to it. Trying to line that up somewhere in here, preferably kind of right in here, because that's where that back side of the cross support is, or dash support. So if we could cut right across there and get that to sit right there. I think that's the goal. I just left these on there to help keep it from sliding left or right when we were sitting around with the tractor. So we can go ahead and cut those off and get them out of the way. Just have to really watch how I'm cutting it, but and there's that side. I'll pull these blocks and we'll just try to slide her forward. Nope, that would be backwards, and see what we end up with here. Oh dear. Sliding back okay. Oh man. So I guess the next step is carving this out so it sits down how we need to, but I got to make some decisions on how I want to do that. We were getting really close to getting this thing to sit down how we want it on the front. It's looking pretty good. I think what's going to come down to is some really good sawzall cuts. This gap is about right here. This gap is about the same as what this gap is. So I think if we do a good sawzall cut across here at an angle or something, I need to take some measurements. Measurements. That's right. They came up with this really cool thing. You can take, we're stuck on the fuel pump. You can take measurements to actually verify things. Now that's a wild concept. Just enough that we can shove a case of silicone in there, you know? I mean, that's really not far from what that is. I think we ought to just do that. So, you make these cuts with the Sawzall all the way through. And if we do it right, it should sit exactly enough where 12 tubes of silicone will seal everything else up. There we go, slide her back just a little bit. Bring it this way just a little. Bring it this way just a little. Have a look at that, would you? Pretty sure if we make a mark, relief cut, bend that over to where we can get that to match up, right? And like I said, maybe we'll get some filler steel, some sheet steel, and build that in right there. Reinforce that gusset. Here's where the Subaru windshield wipers fit. Once it's all welded, I'll take this and I'll beat that down as tight as I can. Not before shoving a whole bunch of silicone up in there. But we'll beat that down as tight as we can, and we might be able. Yeah, we might not be able. Maybe with some modifications we can get the windshield wipers to work still. That'd be kind of cool. Be an added bonus. Same thing on this side. What's she look like from the inside here? So here's the plan, here's the next step. This is pretty much the frame part of the car, this component on each side. It's a monoframe or unibody, whatever you want to call it. And this is pretty much the structure from front to back. It keeps it from folding up like a taco on us. And she's pretty bad and I don't want to reuse this. In fact, let's see here. There should be, oh you can't see, but there should be a bottom. You shouldn't be able to see my hand right there. And it's like that all the way back. I want to cut all the way down this, right there at this seam, all the way down, remove that, coming all the way up to this pillar here, okay? And I want to replace it with that frame rail. Take the bad outside off, take that frame rail and put it in there. Somebody in the know, tell me what this is. There's a little red button on there. I just pushed it down and it stayed down. What's that little red button do? That is a good looking frame. That's some good material. This might end up being the material for the little bed in the back. I think we're starting to get out of cutting wheel territory. I've got just a little bit of O2 left in the oxyacetylene setup at the barn. Let's just take it over there with the tractor and go ahead and cut these cross member sections out. And go ahead and just make a rough cut towards the front, and then we can bring them back and we'll fine tune them with the cutoff wheel for how they're going to go on the car. Well, I'm out of oxygen and I only got a couple cuts, so cutoff wheel it is. It's about an hour, 15 minutes round trip to the closest place to get my bottle refilled. I'm going to town in a couple days, so we'll get it then, but I'm not making a special trip just for today. If you can't visualize it at this point, I honestly don't know how to help you. We're making progress. We got this cut along here. Now I've got to awkwardly cut on the bottom side down here. Try to cut the bottom side of that pan, or I could just beat this into submission and then fold it under and try to cut it from the outside. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And this is the good side. You should see the driver's side. You will, you'll see the driver's side. Wow. So we were talking about how on cars, on unibodies, the structure is in the body itself. This is part of that structure. It's this little piece they've got running down the middle. You can see there's 1, 2, 3 layers all spot welded together. You see the little spot welds? Well, that's going to be that middle layer. And although we are still attached up to this point, she just have quite a bit of rust on her there. You can see where that structure attached down the back, well, it's gone. It's just all gone. And it's on its way out right here, which would have been the B post of the car. Well, that's what we've got to take out and replace with some good steel. So you're sitting on the frame right now. It is 2 3/4 inches from this center support out to where my cut's at is about 3, but it's about 2 3/4 to the outside of this piece of metal right here. So what I'm thinking is we'll cut, you know, this we'll just try to cut out all that rusty section. Well, whatever. We'll try to cut out the most of it. We'll try to cut down where that center support is, right along it. We'll have to cut this old B-pillar section out, and hopefully we can take that frame and tuck it right up underneath here. And then it's got all these holes here. We could take that, we could pop these out, and we could spot weld to the top of the frame all the way down through there as well. So we'd have a weld all the way along here, and then some spot welds. For sale, $2. What a bargain. We gotta get all those popped out. Gotta get these little reinforcement tabs here clipped. And we're gonna have to, wow. Once that dirt finds a way in, it just likes to live there, doesn't it? We're gonna have to get this cut out too. Right. Peeling back the layers. There, we got it all off without it being a mangled mess, huh? Let's polish it up a little bit. So we've got to notch this out so it'll sit where it needs to sit there, you know? That's gonna surprise. I just can't get over how this is gonna work out so nicely. Best safe bet here. Just cut this top flange off. And just right there too. All right. Whoop. You guys starting to see what we're looking for? So I did just a little bit more trimming and cutting. I ended up cutting that flange. Remember how it rolled down? I ended up cutting that all the way off right there. There's a little bolt I'm going to take out right there. Then we're going to throw this. Nope. Yeah, that's it. On the jack and just kind of see if we can't into place. See what other trimming we need to do. What am I hitting out back here? Well, the inner wheel well just a little bit. Look at that. That's almost perfect. Looks great. We'll have to do some trimming back here yet, but I'm not 100% sure. Next video we make on this, next time we work on it, that rear subframe's got to come out so we can take a gander at it and see what we're going to do to fix it. If you don't remember what it looks like. It looks something like that. Quite a bit of it has left the chat. I don't think that's the correct angle for the drive line. So we got that going on. We'll get that side caught up on the next video as well. Rear subframe out, get a rear subframe out, get a plan on that. I got to get some more O2 for my oxyacetylene torch, but we're gonna have to do a little heat and beat right here. You can see it's all straight, but at this last, on the A-pillar, it kind of bends out. We'll be able to heat that up and bend that plate around, make it fit this a little bit better so we can get that pulled in really tight. Then we'll be able to clean that up and we can weld right onto that, weld down that. Hopefully we'll be able to get it in far enough that we can catch the edge of that rail or maybe some of that rail. Oh, you can feel it. I can feel it right there with my finger. If we can get that in about another ½ inch or inch or so, which is probably what that gap is, then we'll be able to stitch right down that as well. And you got fancy brackets for some cool Nerf bars or something too, huh? Huge, obnoxious, just outer fenders coming off those brackets. Be kind of cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure with a little bit of windshield to silicone, we can shove that all full up there and not have any issues with it. Should still have the working dash up here. And then we'll just have, just like you would on a side-by-side, a real simple rocker panel, master, fuel pump, headlights. You gotta do the light bar. Maybe some kind of radio. I don't know, just something real simple though. We're just trying to eliminate anything we don't need. And just make it a fun driving rig. This side will end up going a lot faster too, because now I know exactly where I need to cut. And I know I don't have to mess with being whatever around this. I can just cut it all the way out and be done with it, and cut right across that line and be done with it. And considering everything we've done at this point is free, and the technical people will say, but the cutoff wheels, bud. But if you want to be super technical, all those cutoff wheels were sent in by subscribers. So I counter your technicality with my technicality that they were still free for me. So everything's been free up to this point on this project, which is, that's pretty cool. Considering the cost of new or even used side-by-sides, I'd say if we're under 1,000 or 1,500 total by the time we're all said and done with welding and a little bit of rattle canning, some wiring, and you know we got to throw some big old tires on there just for fun. I think we'll be doing pretty good. Awkward outro with awkward updates incoming. People keep asking about the YouTube yacht. It's right there. She's still sitting in port. You guys know, or if you're new to the channel, maybe don't, is fully funded by YouTube revenue. So if the channel's not making enough to pay for any more progress, then we don't make any more progress. That's not an out-of-pocket expense. The goat barn, the homestead stuff, that's out of pocket. But wife is a teacher and me as a fireman. We're not affording to build another house pretty much on our own salaries. So as the channel picks up some more, we'll pick up some more on the progress. The L100 is sold and gone, and the next flip is in the shop. I'm actually working on it as soon as I get done talking to you guys, and it should be gone pretty soon too. So the next trade up challenge should have 2 or 3 flips in one video, which make a great video. And the next video will be working for Dirt Perfect, which I'm doing tomorrow and the day after. And then we'll be back on this rig. And for everybody that's bought t-shirts, I do appreciate it. Info in the description. Appreciate everything you guys do to support this channel. I really do. I'm gonna clean this mess up just a little bit this evening. I'll catch you guys in the next one.